You guys, it's time. We have to put everything back in its place, and I am looking forward to it, but I'm not looking forward to it because it is so much stuff. This is a solid depiction of my taste. My poor plant has put out a new leaf and it doesn't even have sun, but this is all like barware, dishes. We need to figure out if we can actually use that. My beautiful Italian mirror, that's an antique. That mirror, chair. And then the marble, that is my tabletop for my corner bistro table. But yeah, it's giving disarray. It's giving disarray. My goal is to just complete the bar today. I feel like if we complete the bar today, I'll feel like I'm accomplishing something. So let's start by, first of all, testing the silver. Because although I want to put that up in the bar, and it likely will go up in the bar, I really want to know if it's usable before I put it up there, or if it's more of like a pretty no-no. My friend Summer, her grandmother, she told me this story about her grandmother who had this beautiful candy dish that she used to keep on her table, and she would tell the kids it's a pretty no-no because it looks pretty, it had candy, but they weren't allowed to touch it. And I feel like these silver dishes that I got could very well be a pretty no-no. We can look at it, but we can't touch, we can't use. So I'm gonna figure this out. I have a testing kit. I'm gonna show you guys what it looks like and how to use it. So in case you come across this problem in the thrift where you see pretty dishes, but you wanna know if you could use it or not, this is what you're gonna have to do to check. This is what we are going to be using to test this stuff. Like, I'm just praying, I am praying that this is usable because I have visions, okay, of using this for an ice cream sundae, and I'm freezing my KitchenAid ice cream bowl as we speak so that I can make ice cream with you guys after we do this. Let's hope that we can actually use this. Let's see. Let's read the directions. Avoid touching the swab tip with hands. Got it. Store in a dark, dry place out of reach of children. Done. Seal the bottle cap promptly after removing the swab each time. Okay. If the swab tip turns any color other than red, violet, pink, it indicates no lead is present. So if the swab turns any color other than red, violet, pink, okay. So red, violet, and pink. Red, violet, pink. Why don't they just say if the swab tip turns red, violet, or pink, there's lead? Because this is making me question myself. Okay, let me see. Okay, red, violet, pink indicates lead present. Okay, got it. Rub surface for 30 seconds. Okay, wet swab tip with water for 1 or 2 seconds. Let's get a cup. We have a cup. Okay, this is what it looks like. If they're all looking, these all look red, violet, and pink. Anyway, like, how do you know? Okay, wet swab tip. Okay, 1 to 2 seconds. 1, 2. Got it. Rub surface for 30 seconds. Hey Siri, set a timer for 30 seconds.
30 seconds, starting now.
All right, let's pray for the best, guys. Pray for the best. Pray this is not a pretty no-no. Pray this is not the reason that somebody donated this beautiful set of silver because they decided and figured out, oh my gosh, it has lead. We can't use it. Hold on. I can't tell because it's like dirty. Let's try it again. Let me clean out the cup because this is what it's giving. Dirt. I feel like even if it was, you wouldn't be able to tell. So let's try again. One more time. I feel like if this one passes the test, they'll all pass the test. I'm not going to waste swabs on all these pieces, but okay, 1, 2. Okay. 1, 2. Hey Siri, set a timer for 25 seconds. You guys, I think we're good. I think we're good. Oh, period. Okay. I now need to wash all of this out. Okay. Happy. Okay. Let's now test these because I really want to use these for coffee. I'm so excited about this. Okay, let's do this and then we'll start prepping the bar. Okay, you guys, I don't know what is going on, but I just did a short showing about testing between them both, and I did it 3 times. And let me just make sure. I need to really look at this good. Can you see? I did it again and I tested 2 of them this time and it did not turn pink. So what I'm wondering is if there's like silver polish that was used on here that actually does contain lead, and maybe that's why it tested positive, because now it's not. So we might actually be able to use it. And I did, again, I tested it 3 times just to make sure. So I think I'm gonna just pray on them and hope for the best, because it would appear that we're good to go. It would be so much easier if these came as a color other than yellow, because it's very, very hard to tell. I wish I had something that was definitely lead to compare it against. According to this, I don't know. Yeah, they didn't change at all. I just did the test like 3 more times just to make sure on this one, and then I even had ChatGPT look at the results, the instructions, the everything, and it looks like we're good to go on these as well. You know, I'm going to trust the results. I'm gonna trust the results. I did it, like I said, like 4 more times, so in total I've done it like 6 times, and I feel like we're good. So now I'm gonna wash everything, polish and all of that, and go to the bar. After 10,000 years of polishing and cleaning, finally done. Everything is polished, shining, looking amazing. And now I want a break. I want to make some ice cream. So let's make some coffee flavored ice cream with my KitchenAid bowl that's been in the freezer since yesterday. I feel like I've earned a sweet treat. This is actually, well, it doesn't matter. I should be able to see. Let me tell you what I did the first time I made ice cream. If I didn't tell you, I don't remember if I told you guys this, but I did everything like putting the ingredients in here like 1 by 1 without turning this on. And by the time I went to turn this on, everything was frozen down in it, and I had to like take out the whole thing, rinse out. It was a whole entire situation. So now I know better, and I know to mix everything up ahead of time. This is probably one of the easiest recipes because the ingredients are so simple. It's literally 2 cups of whole milk, 2 cups heavy whipping cream, a cup of sugar, and I think like 2 tablespoons of vanilla extract or vanilla paste. I have done it with paste and extract, but this time I'm gonna do it with extract because I really like to save my paste for my coffee. So what I'm gonna do is take the milk, and I'm gonna take the heavy whipping cream and everything and put it in the bowl. And I'm going to actually combine, you know what? I have a blueberries and cream flavored milk that I think would make an amazing ice cream because HEB does these flavored milks. So maybe next time I'll do that. Okay, so that's 2 cups of that. There's still a little bit in here, but I'm gonna save it because I have a whole nother carton of heavy whipping cream in there, and I'm about to be out of whipped cream. So next we're going to be making some homemade whipped cream. I want to do a combination of maple syrup for the sweetener and granulated sugar. Okay, 1 cup of sugar means, let me see, maybe I'll do 3/4 cup of sugar, and then maybe a 1/4 cup of maple syrup. I have not made this recipe straight like the woman on the website has said since, because the first time I did it, I did date syrup, which was actually really, really good. Oh yeah, that looks like it's gonna be really good. Oh, and we need to do a pinch of salt. It is the best and the worst thing that I figured out how to make ice cream. pinch of salt. I'm gonna do like a thick pinch, maybe like, I like to do kind of like 2 pinches because the saltiness really does cut through the sweetness and I love the way it tastes. I don't know how it happened, but I feel like one of the spoons is missing. We have a tablespoon, a teaspoon, maybe not. Maybe I'm just tripping. Okay. One thing I forgot to put in was the vanilla extract. And I want to say that's like 2 tablespoons. Ooh, we don't have a ton, so. And I want to say it's teaspoons, not tablespoons, yeah. So, oopsie. Okay, now here is the kicker. How much instant espresso do I put? Okay, so it says 6 tablespoons of instant espresso powder to 1.5 cups of hot water. For tiramisu though, that's a lot. Let's start with maybe, cause 6 is a lot, right? 6 tablespoons? Let's try maybe 3. Cause I just feel like 6 is a lot. And this is 2, maybe 4 max. But let me mix this up first and see what it's looking like. I think 3 is enough. I'm just gonna call it at 3. It's okay if it doesn't have like a super coffee flavor. You know what? I can always taste it, huh? It's not like it's raw. Honestly, that is really good. I'll do just a little bit more. So what was that, like maybe, I did 3 tablespoons and 1 teaspoon. Now we turn it on. 1. Alright, now you just let it go for like 20 minutes and it turns into soft serve. So I'm gonna let it turn into soft serve, but then I have these, which I'm going to put the remainder in because I like my ice cream a little bit harder. I think it's done, so I'm gonna take it out. I'm gonna put it in the containers and I'm gonna serve myself up just a little bit. Simultaneously trying to make my husband taco shells so he could eat real quick before he goes out. But let's get this out. Here comes the rascals. Are you guys ready for a side quest? Today, we are going to this place called Royal Roastery, I think is what it's called. And I want to go here to get some specialty coffee for the coffee bar. I've been here before and there was a coffee there I taste tested. If you guys were watching me when my daughter came into town, we actually went there, and the coffee that I tried, I actually went to go buy a bag of it, but it was sold out, rightfully so, because it was so good. And so now that we're putting the coffee bar together, I really want to go over there and get some. I also need to get another, what would you call it, like glass jar like the one that I showed you guys in my last haul to store said coffee beans, because I do want to have the coffee beans a little bit separate depending on the vibe we're going for. So my husband gave me a budget for how much money I can actually spend on said coffee beans. So I'm gonna try my best to stick within the budget. And so that's what we're going to do today. And my mom and brother, I have tagged in to go on said side quest with me. So that's what we're doing today. I am getting my face together. I'm not doing a whole lot. I'm just, you know, doing a little bit, okay? I am out of my eyebrow pencil, so right now I'm using my Shade Light palette, and I'm using this red shadow, which I use even when I do have my pencil, but I really, really like how soft this makes my brows look, and it matches my hair so perfectly. So that's what I'm using for my brows. And really until I get to this little edge part right here, because I just feel like eyebrows be second cousins, not siblings. I do need to fill in this gap right here, and the shadow is not as easy to fill in right here. Yes, still, like, I'm such a perfectionist when it comes to my brows. I have looked at some old photos where my brows, I was like, girl, what were you thinking? I would like to think that some years from now I'm not gonna look at these brows and say, girl, what were you thinking? But the fact that I changed my mind as far as my brow shape is the reason why I am so apprehensive to do something like microblading, because I cannot commit to a brow shape. I really can't. I have to give it a little shape right here. I can't help it. There, you see, like that was the piece that was missing. That right there, I feel like it's my perfect brow. This is my good brow. This is the brow, if you can see right here. I have hair that doesn't grow right here because I busted this eyebrow twice when I was younger. So there is a gap right here and a gap right here that does not grow. Now, how does one bust their eyebrow twice? As a child, I was a rambunctious, very high energy child, so I was always running all over the place, and you know, my face paid the consequence for it, because I also have a scar right here where I busted my chin as well, because my mom told me the story. I was in my walker. Remember, I don't know your generation, but when we were younger, our walkers were like a little round thing you set the child in, and it has wheels at the bottom. Well, apparently I was racing back and forth across in my walker. I was racing and I went too hard that my whole entire walker flipped over and I busted my chin. So had to get stitches right there too. So I've had stitches on my face like 3 times. Yeah, just a testament to what a high energy, rambunctious child I was, if you didn't know. Fun fact. And so because of that, you know, I have to be very intentional about how I do said eyebrows to fill in the gap. So I was thinking about my last dream that I told you guys about in the last vlog, and if you are not familiar with that dream, then you definitely want to go take a look back at that vlog. It's my gardening vlog, the thrift with me for home and garden, and then the thumbnail says how I went viral. So that video, I am talking about a dream that I had in which I was standing at the head of a circle. There was a group of people surrounding me, and I had a cup full of oil that I was pouring into the people's cups who were surrounding me. The goal of me pouring said oil was because I needed them to like really see what was going on around us and not be deceived by what looked like differences between everybody as a way to create a separation. I hope that makes sense. I hope I said that in a way that you understand. But I was just thinking about that dream again this morning. I had that dream at the beginning of this year. Like, I had that dream a while ago and I had just told you guys about it. But actually, I want to say I had the dream maybe, last year, really. After that dream, I really started thinking about the people who were surrounding me. That circle was representative of the group of people that are currently surrounding me. Now, in my description box, if you look at my description boxes, dating back to the start of this year, I call you guys the group chat, and then I call my memberships the inner circle. And that's kind of how I came up with that, because I realized that my platform is a form of like my inner circle, the people who are surrounding me, the people who are checking in with me every single week or every single time I post a video. You guys are like the group chat. You're the inner circle. Actually, my memberships, y'all the real inner circle. And I initially created the inner circle to share information that I didn't necessarily want to make public, but I am in the process of refiguring out how I want to handle my memberships, because thank you to all of you guys who are part of the memberships. I really want to come up with a different game plan for how I want to handle my memberships. Initially, I was only going to put the thrifting videos there, and then I started to recognize that, you know, there were a lot of people who were disappointed that they couldn't see my thrift with me videos, and you know, I felt really bad about that. So I took one of my thrift with me videos and I removed like all the identifying like information, and I just made it public so you guys could get that video. I felt like it would be really helpful, but the people who were part of the memberships actually were able to see that video months ago. And so, you know, maybe it'll be one of those situations where I put videos there months in advance, and that'll be that, along with other information, because there's other things that I'm currently working on that I am probably going to be talking about in my memberships. I say all that to say this. Something about that dream really stuck with me, because it got me to thinking about how important it is the people you surround yourself with. Like, we have our real life inner circle, and when you have a real life inner circle, you are constantly pouring into each other, right? But the real kicker, what are you actually pouring into each other? Sometimes what's being poured into your cup is poison. You know, what's being poured into your cup is an issue that's not really yours. And then other times, obviously, the ideal scenario is that what's being poured into you is something that's going to help you grow, benefit you, help you see life from a perspective that is healthy or, you know, beneficial in some way. Like, that's always what I hope you get from my channel, is a fresh perspective that can help or benefit you in some way. And to be quite honest, that was like the whole premise of me starting my channel was, you know, the way that I view fashion, I've always felt was fairly unique, because as somebody who loved fashion but did not grow up with a lot of money, you know, I had to get really creative in my self-expression, because I did not have the access or the resources to do it in the conventional way. So that's how I kind of came to thrifting. I had to get real creative with how I put things together, because I just did not have the access or the resources growing up to self-express with the things that I was seeing in magazines or on TV and all of that. So I feel like sometimes, and this is what I'm coming to learn, every time I get to a point where I feel backed against a corner when it comes to my resources, and I feel like I have limitations placed on me, you will find that your limitations and having your back against the wall can actually be the thing that forces you to be creative and innovative in ways that only you could be creative or innovative. That's one of those things, like when it comes to just social media, again, going back to that and the copycat culture, there's so much access and so many resources online for how to do this or how to do that, that it really doesn't force you to figure it out or innovate new ways to accomplish a goal. And so I think that's one of the things that I love about thrifting, and it was the reason why even when I got more financial resources, I continued to thrift, because I understood if I don't want to be copied or I want to maintain my individuality and, you know, all of those things, if I thrift it, it's really a very low possibility that somebody can copy me, because, you know, thrifting is you know, a whole different beast. You thrift, you can't really find all the time what I've thrifted. You're going to be forced to innovate and find your own way or your own version of it, but having exactly what I have is not going to be something that's easy for you to do because I thrifted it, right? And that was like one of the things that I thrived on. It was around, I'm going to say like 2000, circa 2010 to 2000. I'd say starting 2010 where I really started getting in my thrifting bag again. Obviously, I've told you guys the story about me thrifting, you know, when I was in school and back to school shopping, I would go thrifting instead so I could have more. But something that really made me hit the thrifting bag real hard was the fact that around 2009, 10, 11, 12, like those years, fashion was doing exactly what it's doing right now, which there was just a lot of sameness. Like there was nothing unique or innovative, and I was getting like real bored. I was tired of going into different stores but seeing the same thing, and I was like, ugh, like I said it back then, and I don't know if you guys have been following me long enough to remember this, but I said, like, if I see another satin bomber jacket, I'm going to scream. Like I was just seeing the satin bomber jacket everywhere, and I was so sick of seeing it, like so sick of seeing it. And I just was like, you know what, I'm going thrifting. I'm going thrifting. And you know, I started showing it on my channel. Anyways, I say all that to say that limitations can really make you, force you into innovation and creativity, and I love that. I really do. And so as people who clock in and check in with me every single week, this is something that I want you guys to really embrace. I never want you to watch me or follow me because I want to create more me's. I want you to feel inspired to be the best you that you can be. I want to pour into your cup inspiration for you to find the thing that's like going to bring you joy and bring that spark alive in you and make you happy. I never want you to look and desire anything you see me doing, anything you see me having. I just want it to be like, oh, we're friends, and I want the happiness and the joy and that spark of life to rub off if you feel like you're stuck, or if you feel like, you know, a little stagnant, or if you need a little inspiration or a little bit of motivation, or even if you're happy and living your best and you just love to see other happy people. I love to see other people that are just happy doing the things that they love, even if it's not the things that I enjoy. I rarely watch, I'm gonna be so honest with you, I rarely watch people who are just like me. I thrive on watching people who are nothing like me because it is so inspiring, and I just feel like it adds something to your life that you can't really get if you're just surrounding yourself with sameness all the time. So I thrive, I enjoy somebody who is completely different from me. It brings me the most joy to watch people living out their truth and being their most unique and authentic self. So I hope that's what you get from me when you're watching me, because that is the goal. I'm gonna use this mascara. I got this Telescopic Extensionist mascara from L'Oreal. They sent this to me in PR. I had been using the Urban Decay tube job, which I love because it's so easy to take off. This, I don't know if it's gonna be so easy to take off, but I do really want to try it because L'Oreal has some of the best mascaras. I'm sorry, better than any of the designer ones. L'Oreal has the best mascaras, and I'm so interested to try this. And what's funny is this is my second time them sending it to me. The first time they sent it to me, I gave it to my niece when she was in town because she was really wanting makeup for her birthday, and she was really wanting mascara. That was one of the things that she told me she wanted to get. So I gave her this mascara because I had it unopened in a package, and literally after I gave it to her, I got another one in the mail 2 days later. I'm not even joking. It was so funny, like a little God wink how God works. But I was like, okay, apparently I need to try this, because for me to get it again after already getting it, now look at that. Let me clean myself up, but I want to show you how amazing it looks. Okay, look at this. I love L'Oreal mascara. It's such a huge difference from this. So we're gonna do the other one. I basically, to clean myself up, I just put concealer. Like I rubbed it out with a Q-tip, which is what I do. And then I just added more concealer, and I just did it on both sides to make sure it looks even. But I love the way this mascara looks. I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side and come back, because I cannot do this and talk to y'all We have both lashes done. I mean, you see, I love L'Oreal mascara. I want to show you guys the wand. So the thing I love about the wand is, look at it, it's slightly curved, so I feel like it just makes it really easy to hit. I also like to occasionally use the top. There you go. I like to actually use that sometimes to add the extra lift and get like in the lashes. I'm gonna add a little eyeliner in my waterline. You see that? Literally had a dot of makeup in my eyeball. I am one of those people, it might gross you out, but I will touch my eyeball or drag my finger along my eyeball to get like a lash or a hair or something out. I cannot stand things in my eyes. I just feel like a waterline for me, having light eyes, makes all the difference. I don't always smoke it out at the bottom lash line. Sometimes I only do the waterline and I still like, unpopular, but I love a dark smoky waterline, lash line underneath, especially because for my eyes, it just makes them, it like highlights them like big brown or light brown highlighters. And I think it just, for me and my face, it just makes all the difference. So yeah, I'm gonna add a little bit more blush. I feel like when I added concealer to fix my mascara mistake, I like rubbed out some of my blush, and I love blush. I'm using the Giorgio Armani number 51. I have used this blush. Oh, you can't even see the color. There you go. I've used this blush so much. That's a really good depiction of the color right there. I've used this blush so much. They sent it to me like a couple years ago. They sent me 3 different colors actually. They sent me this one, which I have not used as much because it's a little bit darker, but I still really like it. I've used it before. And then this one I use a lot also because it has like a little bit of a highlight to it. So sometimes I'll use that one over the top of this one if I want to add a little bit of highlight. I'll show you guys actually. I'll add a little bit on top so you can see. This is my highlighter brush. What is this? It's by Aesthetica. A lot of my brushes I've had for so long when I was doing strictly just makeup on my channel. And I would just buy so many brushes. And they all still work. Ain't no need to get new ones. For me, I got rid of a lot when I was moving. Boom. See how it just adds like a little bit of a sheen? I love it. Okay, I'm gonna set my face with the L'Oreal Infallible. I actually really love this. I'm not gonna lie, it feels like spraying hairspray onto your face, but when I tell you it locks everything in, baby, it locks everything in. Oh, my eye, my mascara, hold on. And then I think I might do, this is my portable makeup bag. I don't know if you guys remember me showing you this. I love this so much. It's so cute. But I feel like I put a lip stain in here. Oh no, it's right here. Cherry Cola. Okay, just kidding. It's a lip stain by e.l.f. and I love it. I have 3 of them. I thought I have 4. These are the shades that I have. This is my favorite one though, Cherry Cola. And I like to put it on with a lip liner. I started off with the Laneige. e.l.f. also has a version that is supposed to be like a dupe of this, and I do have it. This is e.l.f.'s version of the Laneige, and I gotta be honest, it actually is duping. Another gloss that I really like, I've been enjoying lately, are my Guerlain lip glosses. They're so good. It actually, to me, is better than the Dior lip oil. I'm just gonna add a little. This is L'Oreal Golden Splendor. This is giving such 90s vibes to me. Who remembers putting on like a gold lipstick with a brown lip liner? Honey, that was me. That was me all the way. And then I'm just gonna add my Guerlain gloss on top. I love that L'Oreal Golden Splendor with the gloss on top. Even if you don't do a lip liner, it's just so pretty. But I like adding it when I want to add a little golden shimmer to like a color. That is my lip combo. So now we need to do something with this hair. Oh my gosh. I don't know. I think honestly, I really just want to throw on a baseball cap with a curly ponytail because I don't want to deal with my hair. I don't want to deal with my hair, and honestly, I think that's what we might do. I'm gonna put on an outfit. What time? I told my mom and my brother to be here now. 10:30? Did she say she's on the way? She's leaving now. Oh, she'll be here in like 10 minutes. All right. Let me hurry up. I'm being rushed to do my outfit because they're waiting for me. So this is what we're doing. We have my quince dress. Can you see this? Okay, I have my quince dress, my Adidas Sambas bag, and this is the look. Okay, let's go before they start talking about me. Nah, why did my brother just call that the Middle Eastern Vallarta? It was really good. The coffee, so I have a pistachio latte that I had to mix with hazelnut, fire. With almond milk. Do you like yours?
Yeah, mine is very good.
So I actually ended up getting 2 of these. It's mixed with the Turkish coffee, the bold roast coffee that they have, in cardamom. I think this is what I taste tested last time. So I have 2 pounds of this. And then I have these, which are like the baklava with pistachio and knafi. And then this is a chocolate covered baklava with pistachio inside. I'm gonna eat that later as a treat. And then, how does it, is it everything you thought it would be?
Everything I could have hoped for and more.
So we also got some candy because they have that glorious section.
How much was that?
$3.
I need to go back in there.
You need to get more? Go get some more.
Goodness.
She said it's so good. So this is what we were dying to try. That's really good.
Yeah.
You better go get some more because I'm not.
You're too far to come get candy, but so I got to get it now.
Get it now. Fire. Also wanted to try these because these had very little left in there, which is a sure indication that it's good. You want to try? Are you sure? You should try.
Well, let me get one of the little watermelons. Oh God.
Good, huh?
That tastes like this whole time.
I haven't tried it yet. So good, my mom had to walk back in and get some more. I know that lady laughed at her as soon as she walked in. But yeah, this place is called Royal Roastery. They have the little cups with the Dubai chocolate and the strawberries and the knafi and all of that. So good. And sadly, I think that I'm gonna be so addicted to the coffee I need to come back. But worth it because I like trying different coffees. So I'm excited to see how this one performs in my Ninja Luxe cafe and what kind of coffee it makes me tomorrow morning.
I tasted my daughter's candy and it was so good I had to come back and get some of mine.
She owes me some now because she took some of mine.
I took one.
So I'm gonna take one. Boom. All right, let's go home. I am in HomeGoods and I actually found these, which I think are so much cuter than the mason jar that I did get. The mason jar I got was like $30 on Amazon, and those are half the price. So I could get both of those to separate like normal coffee beans versus specialty coffee beans, and I like that. There's also some mason jars here that they have like a smaller opening on the top though, so I'm not going to get them, but those were only like $7.99. So I think I'm going to get these. I've already returned the other one, or I've processed the return, because I'd rather get these. I think these will look cuter in the bar. And then I can also get like an extra little stand for them, because again, we're gonna be decorating the bar now. So I'm gonna look for a little wooden stand for them to be on top of. Like something like this would have been really cute, except for the fact that the leg is missing. So I'm gonna look for something like that. I just got back from running around with my mom and my brother. Lots of shenanigans, took so much longer than I thought it would, but I made much better time than it could have been. So we're still fairly early. However, now we are only doing the clearing out of the bar today. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go and clear out all of the barware, things on the counters, like all the things, give it a nice good scrub down, wash the little glass shelving that's in there because it's very dusty, and just take out all of the dishes and stuff, because I really need to figure out the best configuration for the new setup. And we're gonna kind of go into it because there are some things I'm changing and I have my reasons for it. So let's get into it. Okay, first things first, it's kind of dark over here. It's a gloomy day, but initially, before, we had the entire tray situation right here. Let me bring you a little bit closer so you can see. There we go. We initially had this entire tray situation right here, but I am not using these syrups anymore because they're just not good for you. I have looked at the ingredients and I've done some research, and it's like the bane of me that I've done research. Even these are really not good for you. They're not even natural ingredients, and this is something I'm trying to steer clear from. So I no longer need a setup over here to have syrups and sauces necessarily. I use 100% organic maple syrup to sweeten my coffee, or honey. Honey can go over here, but organic maple syrup actually needs to be refrigerated. So I can't even keep that over here anyway. I am considering getting the bar redone and having a fridge put down here and a different type of ice maker. So that will be something maybe in a future vlog, but for right now, I just need to make all of this functional for how I now am going to be using my coffee bar. So I won't be doing this over here in this area. We're gonna do something else. Also, wow, case in point, this situation right here, I need to throw this away. This just fell out the bottom of it. And the reason is this area over here gets wet sometimes because water will leak out of the Ninja Luxe if I don't empty it in time. There's also a sink right here that has water, and it's just caused so much erosion on this little tray situation. So I need to figure out something else and another way to kind of like store my cold and hot beverage cups. All this needs to be cleared out. So that's what we're about to do today. Then I will decide exactly what I'm going to be doing for certain situations. Okay, had to tie up the hair because we're about to get down to business. Let's clear off all of the shelving first and then everything else after that. Bar has been completely emptied out. I have not seen it this empty since we moved here. So I'm about to do a nice little clean of everything, and then I'm gonna vacuum and actually shampoo the carpet over here, because I also need to shampoo the carpets in the living room, which is why I think I'm gonna do the decor in here tomorrow, because I want to shampoo all of this area at once, clean it off, all the things, and then we'll come back tomorrow and I'll show you the base that we're starting with. Good morning. We are about to start putting some of the decor back into the bar. I shampooed the carpets in there last night. Came out really good, just inside the bar area. I have to do the living room today. But some of the stuff I ordered from Amazon to decorate in there has arrived. I think I'm waiting for one more thing, but let me show you what I got from HomeGoods yesterday, some of the stuff I got from Amazon that got delivered today, and then I'll let you know what we're waiting on, but we're gonna start to try to piece everything together. Okay. It is a bit of a gloomy day today, so I apologize ahead of time for the horrible lighting, but I'm not using a ring light. I'm not using artificial lighting of any sort, so it is what it is. I have my coffee from yesterday. I never, ever, ever, ever drink more than one coffee in a day. Ugh, there's something in my eye. So yesterday when I had this coffee, that was an anomaly, and I actually ended up getting a little bit of a migraine, but I still had half of it left, so I just put it in the fridge, and it worked out because the coffee bar is not together, and I don't want to make a coffee over there right now. So I reheated up my coffee from yesterday. That's what we're drinking, and it is still delicious. Okay, so yesterday when we were in HomeGoods, I did show you those other smaller containers that I was gonna get, but when I saw this, I was like, oh my gosh, that's so much cuter. This is actually even more cute. I'll show you. This was the original one that I had, and there's just like no comparison. So I actually need to remember to return that to Amazon. The second one I got was this one, which is in a stand, and it's so cute. Okay, so what happened was I saw this, but I knew I needed two, and because I didn't see another one, I was like, okay, I'm just not gonna get it. And that's why I showed you the other two that I had. But then when I saw this one, and it has a little stand on it, I was like, oh, this is perfect. And I just like how it has a modern kind of unique shape to it. I feel like that area needs it. And then we have the scooper. As you guys know, or if you don't know, if you're new here, I love putting together dried floral arrangements. I feel like for me, it just works better because I don't want to have to go replace arrangements every week because the flowers die. I like to have really big statement dried floral arrangements, and then I'll bring in fresh flowers in between when I feel like I want that extra. But for the most part, I buy roses and other foliage that dries really pretty, like eucalyptus dries really pretty, lavender dries really pretty, roses dry really pretty, and then there's other things like baby's breath, those dry really pretty. Each flower has a different technique for how you dry it, and there's even some that I've gotten from HEB before that are blue, which I'll show you in another arrangement, but they actually dry and keep their bright, vibrant blue color. So I will be going to HEB, you know, in the next week or so to get some more and then like let those dry out as well. But I got these little wall planters, which just arrived, so let me show you those. I just realized I have like two things to show you. Actually, my first time seeing it too. So these are the wall planters. Okay, it's about the size I thought it was going to be. You can actually put live plants in them, and it comes with everything you need to like hang the hook. So I'm assuming with the live plants you shouldn't fill it up beyond the hole, obviously, but it came with 4, and I thought it would be really cool to do dried florals in at least one of them. I don't know if I'm gonna use all 4 in the bar area, but I have all 4, and I can always, because I still have to do the whole like wall art situation for my living room, and there's other versions of that I really love. They're like face forms, and then you can put the flowers where the hair would be. I've seen those are really cool. I'll probably order some of those, but I don't have enough dried florals to fill, so I ordered this set from Amazon. I was actually randomly like, let me order some from, or let me see if Amazon has them, and Amazon does have really pretty dried florals. You can also get them from HomeGoods. They just don't always have the best selection, but these arrived smelling really good. I can definitely smell like lavender in it, but it's really, really good. And it came with this little stick and this little twine, so you can like make little bushels for whatever you might need. I only ordered one because I wasn't sure how much came in it, and I feel like that'll be enough. I'm gonna have to definitely cut them down, but I also have my pothos that I can put in there because pothos can thrive in just water. It doesn't need soil, but I do want to have a combination of live and dried plants. So typically I would get these from HomeGoods, or mainly HomeGoods is where I see they have a huge selection of them. But I just, again, thought to myself, let me check Amazon, and Amazon had such a huge batch of them with the sleeves and everything. And then I got iced coffee cups, and okay, that's the perfect size. And these are just the clear rounded bottoms that are a lot more popular now. They had these also in other fun colors, but the price difference was large enough that I was like, ooh, like, I don't know. So I decided to go with the clear first, and then maybe I'll add in some fun colors because they have blue, green, purple, pink, yellow. And I feel like mixing those fun colors in with this could be really cute, but I wanted to see the quality of the clear ones first before I ordered the color ones, because from the same vendor. I have spent an unnatural amount of time polishing silver, but it's gonna be so worth it right now because I can't really do much until the picture frames arrive for this wall, the picture frame shelves. I want to fill up my coffee jars. Really loving this. I did not plan to have all chrome or silver for spring. I feel like this is actually very holiday, but I'm going with it. I actually initially got this at a thrift store a while ago to put in the bar because I just think it's funny what it says. Wine improves with age, I improve with wine. The cool thing about this is it's actually metal, and I can make it pretty flat. And I think right there would be really fun. I think I'm gonna just go for it, honestly. All right, I do like this. I like this a lot. I feel like it adds the perfect color, and I do think having a plant or dried flowers right here could be good. However, I am loving the way this is coming out so much. So now what we're gonna do is these two shelves, which are the biggest of the batch, are where I'm gonna be putting some of the to-go cups. So we're gonna put that on there, and then right here, maybe right here or right here, I'll put some of the clear iced drinks to-go cups. You know what I'm saying. I am so excited because I would be standing here and I would hate the way that this was just bare, and now I feel like I have a background. We're moving the furniture around in the living room because we're trying to figure out if the double-sided couch is going to work. So I have moved the bistro table right there because it could potentially go there, or a banquette. The time has officially come for me to show you the finished coffee bar bistro. Let's do a tour. Okay, first things first.
First things first, I'm the realist.
No, I'm just kidding. First things first, I want to let you guys know that it's a very gloomy day today. So I actually have to have on all the lights over here in order for you to be able to see, but I do want to show you what the ambience looks like if we just have on the lamp and the lights overhead are off. You see that? It's just giving. It's giving ambiance. It's giving very romantic bistro. I love it. And this is why I have a lamp here, because it is so necessary when there are days like this. I don't necessarily want to have on the overhead lights, but I want a vibe. So I turn on this lamp and it gives me enough light to do what I need to do, which is make a coffee or do a drink or whatever. But I just love the way that it looks. So let's go into the bar and I'll show you where I put everything else. It's very functional. Everything has a purpose and we're going to talk about it. So right on the bar, I have this really pretty dove dish. I have toothpicks right here, and then we have chocolate and we have little candies. Sometimes I'll do mints and things like that, but this is the perfect thing to have right here because this is the place that everybody comes to my house after dinner. So like if we're having a get together and there's like food and everything, we do all of that in the kitchen, and then we make our way over here for cocktails or coffee or, you know, things like that. And having a toothpick where people can, you know, do what they need to do after they eat dinner, if they have something stuck in their teeth or they need a mint or a candy or something like that, makes this the perfect place to have this. Another reason I actually also have this lamp right here is because I have this mirror. Let's take a closer look at the mirror. Okay, so to give you some context, this is the height with the mirror. I wanted it perfectly within this panel. Obviously for symmetry reasons, my brain just could not if it was off center. I just feel like this area is begging for like a little seating situation. So I'm still trying to figure out exactly what to do right here. I am between a banquette and a bistro table. I did try this bistro table out over here, but the marble tabletop that I have on it is just too big for this space. This needs a smaller table with maybe 2 to 3 chairs. This is kind of the vibe I'm going for. Hopefully I have inspo on the screen. But also I would love to do like a corner banquette and a little table as well. So it's really about finding the perfect piece. And also, although the bar is done right now, it's not really done because we will be replacing the countertops with marble or quartz, doing some mosaic tile on the ground inside. So there's gonna be a few more changes, but this is just what it is for now. So I'm trying to think ahead and not be too hasty in putting something right here, just in case we decide to lower the bar top, keep it the same height, maybe extend it out so that bar stools could be here. Like there's so many different directions that we can go with this. So I am just trying to take my time. That's something I have learned with home decor, is how important it is to take your time. Otherwise, you keep buying things and replacing things because you're not taking your time to find the perfect thing. This is really hard to show you guys, so I'm gonna do my best, but I decided to do this painting right here, which I got at a garage sale, and it is original art. I do need something for right here. I'm not 100% sure yet what that thing will be, but I'm hoping to get something really interesting, so we're keeping our eyes peeled. And then we have this situation right here, which I love this. I think this is such a cool thing to do right here. I feel like it needs something right here, but I'm not sure, just to kind of create some symmetry. Again, my eye needs symmetry. I even think something cool right here, like a little candelabra that just takes up this space and you could put a candle on it, a fake candle. But I think something like that could create very romantical whimsy in this. Did I say romantical? Romantical. It could create romantical whimsy in this area, which I absolutely love. Now moving on to this side of the wall, this is all about practicality, okay? We have the coffee right here, which has the two different coffees. We have the espresso roast, we have the specialty Turkish coffee, and I just think these go perfect right here. I struggled so hard with what to put right here, and I just feel like these are the perfect thing. Right here, I do have this, which I got from Restore. I thrifted this, and I think it would be so cute to print out little menus, especially when I'm having little things at my house for the drinks available or the cocktails available for that night. Just kind of print them out and make little custom menus. We call this the Davis Manor Coffee & Co. I want to put that here. I'm going to get some printed because there's just certain things I always have, so I think that could be really cute. That can live right here. And then I have napkins right here. This is a little rhino bookend, and I just thought it was the cutest thing to hold the napkins. These are some leftover napkins I have from last spring when I was buying cups and napkins and things like that to match. So I think I'm definitely gonna keep doing this because it's just so cute. I love this here, and it adds some interest. Now for the walls, I'm gonna insert some B-roll so you guys can see, but it was so important to me to have cups, like to-go cups and things like that, displayed in here in a way that just would not be annoying. I feel like when I had the little stand on the countertop, it was taking up unnecessary counter space, but it wasn't adding to the beauty or the design. So I feel like having them on this wall in this way really just takes it up a notch, and it also creates interest for the wall. I love the fact that I could swap these out for different colors seasonally, and it kind of changes the vibe of the bar. But this is something that I really love that I was able to find on Amazon. It's real wood, so I'll have all of the stuff that I found on Amazon, of course, linked down below. It's one of my favorite things about this wall because I was really struggling with what to do here. Another thing that I really love is this right here. This is a live little vase that I put a pothos plant in, and it's just really cool to have this here. Pothos do thrive in just water, so I can keep that alive right there and maybe swap out the wildflower. This is a wildflower from my garden, so I just think that's cool to bring a little bit of outside in. And again, it does match these right here. These have, of course, the rocks in it, the same rocks that are in my little dragonfly pond. I did initially not want this here, and I still may switch that and put that maybe like right here or something. I think that could look really cute. But having the clear cups here and the colorful cups here, I'm gonna be getting some more colorful versions of this to possibly put here. And then I thought this was the perfect sign to have, because this is something I thrifted at a thrift store. Hopefully you can see, there you go. You can kind of see a little bit better what it says. Wine improves with age, I improve with wine. And then this right here is my dried flower arrangement. So this is something that I created for the holiday season to go over on my bistro table. These are dried baby's breath, and this is what it actually looks like when it's dried properly. This is also dried colored eucalyptus, but I also have fresh eucalyptus that I have dried out before as well. And these are what I used in my mantelpiece when I was doing my mantelpiece for the holiday season. We have some of these right here, and it just really gives a colorful, whimsical vibe over here. I would love to add some more roses, which I'll show you one of my other dried arrangements, but this is just something that ties in this situation right here, which I will be drying out more flowers to put in here as well, because this can kind of, you know, change and grow. But I think this is just such a key element to making this area look so pretty. And then I have a little dish here which matches the little rhino, and this is for like if I need to do something, I can set my rings here or whatever the case might be. And then I love this tray. I polished this all up. It took me a long time. I'm not looking forward to polishing up the teapots, but this is my vintage pickle caster. I don't have anything in this cup right now, which I need to figure out what I want to put there, but right here we have white sugar. So that's cool. And then for the glasses, because I couldn't find the proper glasses for this yet, these are actually just whiskey glasses that we had that happen to fit in there perfectly. So that's what I'll be using for right now. This little jar I got from an estate sale. It has the top and the little glass spoon, but this houses brown sugar. This is another empty jar that I might put honey in or something else. I'm still trying to decide, or maybe peppermints. That could be cool. And then this is actually what holds my cinnamon. If you guys remember, I thrifted this. I thrifted 2 of these. The other one I tested for lead. It does have lead. This one does not. So we have this here, and then I also have this little cut glass dish which has all of the spoons and things that I use for when I'm making coffee. And then this right here is 2 little glasses that my good friend from California gave me. I can use these as like a small little cortado cup, like for coffee or espresso shots. But for espresso shots, my cousin, she brought these over for me. These are part of a little China set from Japan. They are made in Japan, and this is the perfect size. It's the perfect size for espresso. So having these to put down here for espresso shots, and then I have the little saucer plates right there. I think this is the cutest thing ever, because I oftentimes see things like this in the thrift store and I'm like, what am I gonna drink out of here? It's like so tiny, but it's actually perfect for espresso shots. So I keep that here just to add some beauty with my espresso machine. And then moving to the main focal point is my silver. Of course, I still have these. These are the ones from Amazon that I got. If they're still available, I'll link them. But I was so pleased that all of these tested negative for lead. These worried me, you guys know, but they tested negative for lead. And after testing the other version of this and seeing the color, it was able to help me really see that this does not have lead in it, because I was able to see the color difference. But all of these I will be using. This I will be using for ice cream sundaes. You just wait. But all in all, this is the whole entire bar area, and it just looks so gorgeous to me, including the perfect mirror, which I also thrifted. Literally, aside from these like little coffee containers, I want to say, in my Ninja Luxe Cafe and maybe the disposable cups, everything in my coffee bar is thrifted, which is insane to me. Last but not least, which is like integral to any little bistro cafe, is my corner bistro situation. I'm gonna flip you guys around so we could talk through what's on here. Again, bear in mind, it is definitely gloomy today. Let me move this over. But I like to keep this chessboard on this table, which I thrifted this, and I have these little coasters, again perfect for if you're over here. You can see like we've set stuff on here, but I don't mind that. I also have this, which is where I keep all of the checkerboard pieces. This is not what this is for, but I think it's just perfect. We have my little ficus plant right here in the face. We have the coloring books that I do keep over here, and inside of here are the coloring pencils. And then this is really cool. This was from my uncle's shop, but it actually holds playing cards. So I really like to keep games and things like that over in this corner, because this is like a social corner that you can sit in when you're in the living room at my house and you kind of want to have a conversation area, have a cup of coffee, stare out the window, which I can't really show you guys, but it's a really pretty window view right here. And I just love this section. I legitimately have coffee in that corner probably 4 to 5 times out of the week because it's just the perfect place. I also work from that corner a lot when I'm editing videos and I don't want to be in the office. I'll work from that corner. I can watch TV from that corner. It's just really, really cool. And then if I have company, they can sit right here in this corner, keep me company while I'm working. It's just such a cool thing. Now, I don't know if I'm going to keep the bistro table there if I get one back there, because I don't know if it's going to be something that makes sense, but depending on what I find back there, as long as it's not too similar to this, then we'll consider. I just don't want to get a different version of this and have it kind of like clash style wise. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm mulling over. And so this is my, I don't know if you can see, here we go. This is my mantelpiece, which is still here from Christmas. I told y'all I was keeping it up. I want to show you guys the other dried arrangement and flowers that I got from HEB that dry really beautiful, because I did tell you guys I would show you that. This right here is another dried arrangement I have. This is something that I thrifted, but these right here, these beautiful blue flowers, I have them all throughout here. These were flowers that I bought from HEB and they dried, and these are roses. Did I just drop one? I sure did. Roses, dried roses are very delicate. So once you put them in an arrangement, you kind of have to leave them. Otherwise, you're gonna ruin them. But I love, this is the dried eucalyptus that I've dried myself. And you can kind of see the difference, but you can do these in like whatever color schemes you want. These twigs are really cool. I don't know, it just adds some like romanticism and whimsy and just, I don't know, old world charm, I feel like, to an area. Last but not least, this is another dried arrangement that I have, and these greens here and these are all from my front yard, literally, and these are from some of the stuff that I bought for Christmas dried arrangements. But yes, I have these dried arrangements all over the house, and periodically I'll do things like add color. If I get a new floral arrangement that I dry out, I'll just stick a few of those dried blooms in like one of my dried flower arrangements. So this is the one that is my table centerpiece that consistently gets bigger and bigger. I like to think of my dried floral arrangements as keepsakes, because a lot of times I get flowers for special occasions or special things. So especially when people buy me flowers, I like to dry them out and keep them as keepsakes. So all of my dried floral arrangements are flowers that I've gotten from special occasions, and they are just really good memories, and they bring back those good memories every single time I look at them, even on down to the ones I pulled from my front yard, because that was like one of our first winters here when we had a storm and the branches had fallen. So I took some of the branches from the trees and put them in that centerpiece that's in the dining area, and it was just such a cool memory of our first year here. So I hope you guys loved my coffee bistro tour. We will be moving into the living room next, but not too soon. Give it a couple weeks. But yes, improvements are slowly but surely coming along, and I can't wait to take you guys on the journey with me. Everything I can link will be linked down below. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.